It took some time to realize she chose him over me. And it happened slowly at first, over time. Maybe she took a little bit longer to reply, or maybe, she stopped being the person to initiate conversation. And I feel like all the time I had to, start asking questions or something, for her just to reply. And her replies got shorter, and, when we did go on a call, her voice just completely changed. Before she was like very talkative, and now she was like withdrawn. We used to have a call for like over half an hour or maybe an hour, and then it just went down to 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes if I was lucky. When you love someone, you don't you give them the benefit of the doubt. You don't assume anything's wrong at first. You just assume maybe they're tired, a bit stressed or whatever, and you try and help them out, and you try and be understanding and supportive, right? Because you like them. And I stayed patient, I stayed consistent. She kept on withdrawing, but I kept on saying, maybe it will change, maybe she'll get better, maybe we'll talk again like we used to. I didn't realize though is whilst I was, keeping the relationship alive, someone else was actually stepping into a relationship with her. He started having more conversations with that other person. He took away the attention she had for me, and now he had more attention than me. And that's the thing about attention is attention quickly turns into interest. With interest comes emotion. When you're interested in someone, you feel attracted to them. With attraction comes attachment. And that's when she got attached to him, when before she used to be attached to me a lot. And by the time I pieced together that something was actually wrong, right, it was too late. Okay, she chose him over me completely, and that's when she completely shut down, got out of my life, and she just left without saying goodbye. The hardest part was realizing that I was trying to fight for her attention, but I didn't even know we were fighting for her attention. I thought we were just building something. When it became official, I went from the guy who she used to talk to every day to the guys, watching from a distance. And it stunned, it got me bitter. I'm not gonna lie, I got pretty mad, annoyed at her. And annoyed at myself really, because I was like, oh fuck, it was my fault, I wasn't interested enough, or this guy's more confident than me. There's just something wrong with me, which is why she chose him over me, just that I'm messed up, there's something wrong. I'm not attractive, or maybe I'm just not a good person to talk to. Well, I became the guy who blamed myself for everything. It wasn't his fault or her fault, it was my fault for this happening. It was my fault that she stopped talking to me. It was my fault that she chose him over me. Everything was my fault. And I took that personally, dude. The girl I was talking to, we knew each other for 4 years. And you're telling me a guy who she met in just a year just took all that attention. And I couldn't accept it for a while, and it just tore my head in, after that I realized I needed some time to heal, do whatever people do after some breakup or whatever, stuff like that happens, It took me a long time to come to terms with it. Even now, 2 years after it happened, I'm still a little bit shaken. I kind of gone over her, but at the same time I haven't. Sometimes I stay awake at night, look up at the ceiling, and I'm just remember all the times we sat together when we were younger, we used to talk a lot, and I just remember I make up these things in my head, what if that didn't happen, what if she chose me? And then my mind goes into some weird thing where it's I'm imagining something, I'm imagining me and her together, even though I know I shouldn't, even though I know she's gone forever, she's gone forever. Even if she did say, I'm sorry, right, it just wouldn't be the same because of how long it's been, it just wouldn't feel the same anymore. So I know that connection that I have with her will never come back, will never be the same. I post YouTube videos and TikTok and shit, just kind of spread a message. The first I started, I was like, you know what, I just want to try and make an impact in people's lives. But I don't even know if I'm doing that anymore. I see other people, and they're great, they actually do it, and they do it better than me, and then I'm like, fuck, how do I be better than them, and I try, but I just can't do it. I don't know why. I want to be different. I don't want to follow in people's footsteps. I don't want to be like someone else. I want to be me. I want to be my own person, but right now I just don't know who the fuck I am. But I mean, I'm trying, 12 subscribers is a pretty big deal. Like, imagine 12 people standing in front of me right now. Like, that should be crazy, dude. No matter what happens, I mean, at least I'm just gonna be me, and I don't want to be anyone else. I don't want to pretend to be someone I'm not. Some people post and they go viral and they're like, I'm the main character, Bro, even if you get 1 million likes on a video, that's not even 1% of the population, bro. You're not even that special. No, you don't have to say that you're the main character. You don't have to say you're special to everyone. You just have to believe it. People, they have to be a people pleaser. They have to please everyone. They have to please the majority so they can get people to like them. But bro, start with liking yourself first. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to like myself for who I am. And maybe I don't know who I am yet, but one day maybe I will know who I am, and I can say with certainty, I'm Adil Ahmed and I'm this. And I don't care what you say, I'ma stay being this guy. Okay, and I ain't gonna change for you or anyone. When that day comes, I can find a person who loves me for being this guy, like me, love me for being me. So yeah, that's it. Alright, thanks for watching, and just like and subscribe. Yeah, it'll help me out. So yeah, see you later, mate.